Hey, man.
All right.
Good, it's Max.
Not too bad.
You got any racing this weekend?
I did last week, no, if it doesn't rain, go up to Osborne.
I don't think you have a problem there. Yeah, he's out. We canceled Friday.
Who's that?
The news stuff. Rain.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Pretty much figured out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this one's like rain.
Heard anything on Caterpillar trip?
Yeah, everything's all ready to go. Everything's been turned in and,
You know where we're gonna be, or?
no, I haven't heard that yet. As soon as I know something, I'll, let you know. We can probably all just, if we have to meet in Kansas City or Topeka, we probably just all ready to go and everything.
Good morning. You guys all right with you? I'm fine.
I'm fine with them, have a motion to set up this week.
I'm moving to approve the minutes. Second that. Monday, August 20th is written. Second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Matt, you got something real quick?
Fine, real quick, but.
Well, we got Marlene on schedule.
Oh, okay. I can wait.
Marlene?
That's how it goes.
Here's a copy of hers, Chase has another copy. Or somebody.
Yeah. No, it's scheduled.
Two questions on your proposed budget. Commodities and contractual services. Commodities looks like it's probably closer to 3,000 based off of what you're actually been spending the last several years.
Just depends. I always put a little more just because I never know for sure exactly what's dropped. If it's not that much there, but
Mhm.
I'd feel better with a little more there, just in case. I never know when something comes up.
Do you know what you're, well, on commodities, do you know what you're gonna spend, for 2012? Do you know what you're on pace to, what you're on pace to be spending in 2012? Because in 2011, you spent just under $1,900, that's why, 5,000 versus 1,900, so, what we get.
Well, supplies last year, I think I had around 2,000. I have to order at least 600 or so on books every year. And that's going up, they're not doing it in-house, it's coming out. But that's just general supplies there. If you have something big come up, like, you know, like, I've had air conditioners and things like that I've had to pay for, that wasn't expected in my budget before, that's contractual.
That's come out of courthouse general?
Mhm.
We have a air conditioner that's replaced,
Come out of my budget.
but that light.
Huh?
Oh, the light just, it just went out.
He's
I think
got a
on
ballast
that
order for it.
Sorry, it goes out about the same time every, the last 2 weeks.
All my technology, and all that comes out of my tech fund, as you know, I use that for those purposes. County does pay for the copy paper. I ordered that for all the offices that wanted. I think the county attorney uses it, the clerk uses it.
No, I pay for my own copy.
Okay, well, I was told years ago that the copy paper did not come out of my budget, come out of the county general. I pay for copy paper for my books out of my budget, but for public purposes and things like that, it comes out of county general. But I've been ordering it for county attorney or whoever. I think it's like 25 cases a year or something. But the county general pays that.
Oh, it does come out of each department.
No,
Some of the departments, I think, have been paying for stuff like that.
well, we each pay for what we use ourselves, more or less, but I have other offices sometimes that come in and make copies to me, and that's out of the county general.
Here's what you actually revenue was by year. The year before, it had 5,000, 2011, 5,000.
I have been keeping 5,000 in every year, so last year, for some reason, they cut it to 4.
Contractual spent a little over 1,000 for the year, for July, and about $471.
Well,
For
utilities
commodities.
were over 1,000 last year. Or the telephone, I should say.
There's your actual expenditures,
Mm-hmm.
2011.
I guess this is,
So, this is what you just give us today. And 40%, which is not, that's not bad. But then the commodity is low.
yeah.
And that's the history that shows here too.
Mhm.
So, we have a problem with that, and that's that could be good, but it's the history of that.
Okay. Yeah, so we,
Because there could be something coming up later, but that's pretty.
yeah, your budget sheet showed it was budgeted at 5,000 last year, but it looks like it was 4. Looks like it was 4,000.
With that, well, I asked for 5 and she said,
I think 4,000 on contractual is probably pretty close or accurate to it, and commodities probably closer to 3,000, probably more close to actual.
Okay, but I wouldn't want it to be, I couldn't, I mean,
But you haven't spent anywhere near that.
I
or
know,
the
but you
trend is-
never like the thing, you never know, 4,000, cut it that much.
I'm trying to figure out here what commodities are.
Yeah.
You have the new one coming, and she makes it more, too.
What are the commodities?
Have your papers, right?
Well, just anything that you book, binders, I haven't bought any new binders or anything. Just what you use in the office.
That would be on target for just right around 1,000. Basically what you spent so far year to date. You're on target to spend about 1,000 commodities.
Well, I ordered books, like I said, and they have to pay for non-use.
And how much are books?
Like I said, they're like $600, $700 for those.
We can get electronic version instead of books.
You know, people need those.
And the books are for
They're the copies
the copies of the deeds.
of the documents.
Okay. And we have to keep physical copies of the documents?
I do. Most people do, somewhere.
What statute, I mean, what do we,
Well, that's just the way it's always been in my office, and that's the way I have people coming in, and that's what they like, and if you do away with that, then you're gonna have to have a lot more computers and things like that, and if that's happened, I'm gonna let that up to the next registry, to decide how she's gonna handle it. But at the present, that's how it's done.
Are you asking about whether we need to have hard copies of deeds?
well, whatever she's put in the books, we can't scan that and put it into our system?
You have to have a lot of computers there, you're going to have a lot more.
Well, if you put it on a server, if it's stored on a server.
Well,
I know, but you have all these abstractors and public coming in looking. Like I said, if the next registry wants to do that, that's fine.
Jeff, I don't know whether there's a requirement that they be on paper. It wouldn't surprise me if there was, but I don't know. I don't know whether there are any registers of deeds that are storing them all electronically.
Is that a decision for you, or is that a decision for the office holder?
Well, the budget is a decision for us and you, so that's what we're trying to figure out. I'm not,
Okay, but that's not that expensive. I don't think we're using that much money out of the budget for the books and the paper.
I guess the question is like, what's the right amount to have for contractual commodities on your budget? I guess that's what
Okay.
that's a.
Well, now, next year, in contractual with the new register, there will be a schooling, there'll be more expense for that, for room, and everything. There'll be meetings for her to go to, being she's new too, so there's gonna be more in the contractual than what I spent this year, or for that purpose.
Well, if we leave that at 4,000, I think that would probably cover any type of travel or training. If we leave that at 4, I think we did this last year.
They did, she didn't have the 3%, I had 3%. So that figure comes to, personal service would come to 84,590.
At 2 full-time, or 3 full-time?
3 full-times, and we'll need to reinstate that one now.
I think it is kind of, I think we should really be taking a look at sharing personnel services down some of those offices down at courthouse. Why we wouldn't want to create some efficiencies and decrease expenses for our taxpayers, is you know what I mean?
That's fine, but, well, just like now, I missed a meeting this week because of health office and attend what you're supposed to be attending to, you do. I had to miss mine this week, and that was on my software. That's my health, my husband's in the hospital.
Yeah, I think you said that on Monday.
So, I just don't see how you can take more people out of my office. I only have 2 in my office, maybe some of the other offices you can cut it, but I don't see how you can cut it in there.
Well, I mean,
Even though when you put it on the computer, you've got to recheck all that to make sure it's all right. Whatever you do in the office has to be rechecked.
well, I think what we were inquiring about is, can offices down in the courthouse share a person or persons to rotate among duties? That way, when somebody's sick, if somebody's in the clerk's office and they're not doing anything, they can rotate out, go to deeds. That doesn't sound like it's feasible.
No. I understand what you're trying to say, Jack, but I just know how it works when I had part-time people once. And when you try to get them to come in and fill in, it didn't work. It wasn't their scheduled time, and they had other plans, and they couldn't come in. Are you to let them go then if they refuse to come in on when you need extra help? And that would be like if you had a meeting to go to in another office, you asked to share that for that time, and they said no because they were busy. Well, you're stuck. See what I'm trying to say?
Well, that's why we would look at like, not just 1 office, but, or 2 offices, we would look at like 3 or 4 offices, that you could have 1 person, so.
But that was,
Okay. Well, it sounds like, Mr. Bonus and Widener are in favor of keeping
Well, I
3
just think we
positions.
have to right now. I think it's an option to look at next year. But it is kind of a gray area where we can exactly tell you, which it's a little bit sad in a way, but as an elected official, that's what you're elected to do. So we have to do the best we can to fund it, but then we have to have explanation of taxpayers too, so. But I'm for reinstating that, and I'm for leaving the contractual at 4,000 and the commodities at 3. But I need to add to 3%.
3%?
Which I've already had.
Okay.
I'm trying to get this figure here. That comes to 91,589, probably.
Both that, yeah. Thank you.
Total.
The total of those figures would be 91,589.70. I rounded it off to 91,590.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
Well, I'm sure the employees are going to be happy with the 3%.
No, we're not quite there, I mean, but we're gonna try. Okay. We're gonna try, that's our goal.
They'll take the insurance away from us.
Huh?
It will be until they take the insurance away from us.
You gonna do that?
Matt, knock it off, please.
Something's gotta give.
Okay. Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got any questions, bro?
No, I'm fine. Just as long as you can help. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Okay.
Fair enough. I've got quite a little bit, would it be better if I schedule something, or?
Yep, because we've got 10 o'clock.
I do have 2, POs, if I could get those taken care of. When should we, let's see, what's today, the 22nd? You got anything that looks like on the 27th? If I call first thing on the 27th?
Nothing's on the agenda right now.
I got back to bridge inspections, need to talk to you. There isn't anything, that we didn't expect on there. I just wanted, yeah, I just want to go over that one with you a little bit. First thing I got here is, need to replace the walking beam bushings on actually 2 of the trucks, and that is a total of $552.82.
I think it's a big two.
Yeah.
Yeah. $552.80.
And then the next one is a little bit more significant. It is the last payment on the bridge we did 3 miles south of Arrington, the Wildcat Bridge. It is $38,481.10. After KDOT did all their figuring, that's the end. Yeah, that was the cost.
Where's it located?
3 miles south of Arrington on Martin Road. It is the nicknamed Wildcat Bridge.
So you want August 27th and at 10?
What's that?
Do you want to do August 27th at 10?
Whatever's convenient.
Yeah,
Good 9:30, if there's nothing scheduled right now.
how long? You want an hour? Half an hour?
I think a half hour would probably do it, because there wasn't anything.
These are your bridge inspection. Bridge inspection.
Yeah. If you want me to, I could leave the, bridge inspection, but yeah, if you want to go on.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Just kind of review.
Well, I did. We have to have this read by Monday?
No, I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't read it yet myself, I just got them yesterday. So, I'll try to look through them.
You may have to explain some of the terminology.
Yeah, I just kind of glanced through, and, I talked to, David Beach, the guy that did them, and like I said, there wasn't anything really unexpected, so I'll try to read it and talk to you on Monday. Okay. Thank you.
It's my birthday, we can get away from that. I didn't bring any.
No, I didn't ask them.
Shall we stand and
Or what?
shall we stand and sing happy birthday?
That wasn't on the agenda, so we're gonna have to resend that and go on.
Where's the party at? And the whistles. Happy birthday, what, Mary?
Oh, I got it.
You have to bring an apple cake.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, what do you got for us?
What did you guys do? Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, about.
Department. He's got those figures.
For maintenance, do you have that handy? What we budgeted?
Well, just in case, I just wanted to, so Joe knows what you've done, so if there's been on it. Go ahead.
Well, I don't have any, the courthouse is not going to use its power Friday, the 31st. Power off for the weekend.
We don't have to shut our computers down, okay.
No, Tom's going around letting everybody know the courthouse. I've already let Wes know that he doesn't have to shut down the server. So, that'll be on the 31st, 5 o'clock, 5:30.
Except for the electrical upgrade.
Yeah, the switch in that they need, supposed to be in today or tomorrow. I can't guarantee it, so I don't want to take that chance and let everybody go ahead. So, that's about all I have.
so notifying everybody. Well, I think we were looking up on your budget real quick. Where were we at? Yeah, I think so. Is that okay? Is that fine? That's what I have now.
Yeah, that's fine, that's what I'm doing now.
15.
Yeah, half
Yeah,
of that, that'd be,
Yeah, the vehicle, I think we went to.
right, well, because of the
I think we went over that. We must have gone over those.
Okay. Does he need to be here there, so we know?
Well, then the major changes we made on the budget was, we calculated a salary increase of 3% on wages, so that puts it up, just a little over 97,000. And then, capital outlay, we're gonna budget 15,000, we're not gonna do the whole 30. But that's something we need to, especially capital outlay, if we're talking about like boilers, et cetera, I mean, that's just something that's gonna have to be gradually over time, we're gonna have to be building up for that, so.
Okay, that'd be great.
So it's at least a start, and I think on the capital outlay, we, instead of 2, I don't know when the vehicle will be replaced, but, I think we put, 5,000 on vehicle replacement fund.
Age of those trucks, probably.
Yeah.
We need to boost that up first a little bit. But it comes in about 10,000 less than what you had projected, but most of that was subtracting the capital outlay from the facilities repair fund.
Okay.
That work for you, or questions about it?
That's great, sounds great.
Okay. And we left everything else alone, contractual commodities, it's all in line with what you've been spending there.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll say.
Chase me.
I can skip to the year for a while.
That's here. They're here just to listen.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Sweet.
We can go ahead, I think, do we have anything else for say, so.
We're ready for you.
Get on the hot seat.
Right now.
They're just here to listen, I think, unless you guys, did you have something, you didn't have anything, Chad, did you?
No.
Okay, okay.
I was just wondering who was here to sweeten up the commission plan this morning.
Our counselor, well, he's an attorney.
I was wondering if there's any correlation with how many donuts and number of years.
Those billable hours.
46.
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning.
I'm good, we're going to do it. I got my sugar, so I'm ready to go.
You ready to go? Would,
Be helpful.
so, what we did was, after just, receiving, more discussions, receiving input from people in the EMS system and just a lot of different discussions and things like that. We retooled the contract a little bit to just assist the county. We'll go over it. Generally, it's the same, but there are a few changes that I think will assist the county in some of the things that you guys want to do. The first point to mention is on the number 1 on the first page. We changed that from a 5-year contract to a 3-year contract with a 2-year extension. And kind of the pretense behind this is not to take anything for granted. It kind of holds our feet to the fire to be an excellent EMS organization. And how that works would be 3 years. The first 3 years would be the actual contract, and there would be an automatic extension of 2 years if the commissioners so choose to do so. And basically, it just says that it gave a time period on the 3rd year during that summer before you guys do budgets to address that, whether you want that extension or not. And then if so, then it would be for an additional 2 years. Moving on through to page 3. What we did here was we took into consideration the cost that the county is going to incur on hard assets, equipment, things like that. And so you see on page 3, you see what the subsidy would be for each year. And once again, there's 5 years listed. That would be the first 3 would be under the actual contract, and the last 2 years would be with the extension if that's what the county wants to do. And then the other big change is on page 6, and it is termination and option to extend. What we did here was we extended the time for notice, so that way it doesn't put anybody in a bind. There's more time. We had 90 days on it. 90 days was fine with us, but we thought the county might feel more comfortable with a little extension of that, so that if anything does arise, then there wouldn't be as much of a time crunch for you guys. So we extended the notice to 120 days on that. And that is the predominant changes. I mean, there are not that many of them, but they're fairly significant. And really at this point, we entertain any questions or things you want to get specific on, or discussions, or anything like that.
What's the offer of the ambulance membership? What does that?
What does that include?
Yeah, what is that?
Okay. That is something, even though in the contract, I think it says a fee not to exceed like $65. Well, we have a single membership for $45. We have a family membership for $55 a year. And what that includes basically is if somebody either doesn't have insurance, or a lot of times has insurance, but they have a copay, a deductible, any of that stuff. What it does is take a portion of the remaining part of that bill off of there for them, so for the citizen. And usually what we find is anybody that does that, utilizes it about once, ends up paying for the membership. So people like it. We've got quite a few people that have memberships elsewhere.
You run that through you guys?
Yeah, we handle all that. Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a supplemental policy?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay, just to make clear, some of the things that, we need to make sure that, you know, if we decide to contract with you, what we're liable for, and, you know, I understand all the big ticket equipment, you know, like the ambulances, probably heart monitors, that kind of stuff. Now, am I correct in saying that all your disposable medical supplies, you guys take care of?
Yeah, all the disposable medical supplies, oxygen, drugs, nasal cannulas, 4x4s, I mean, any of that.
And what about, uniform or shirts?
Uniforms for the personnel, that, once again, that's something to take care of.
That takes care of that too. And the laundry?
The laundry, yeah, the laundry, we take out the laundry.
Well, I'm just basing a little bit here on, this is all news to me, and Miami throughout, just what they do, and I'm just checking to see, I mean, if those are little things. They're
Sure,
not
no.
big ticket items, but.
They do add up, so.
They'll add up,
Sure.
yeah. A bunch of little
Sure.
things can make a big thing, but, you know, you can kind of prepare for a big, or chemicals or anything, that'll get your attention. A bunch of little things are kind of nitty and they're really pretty cool. Okay, let's see. So we'll take care of the utilities, are there organizations or stuff like that that we need to do? I think they have dues and membership, is that something that we need to be involved in?
Some of them, yes, some of them, no, depending on what it is, but once again, that's, not a responsibility of the county. We cover all that.
So you will kind of determine what is sufficient there, or what really needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about, in terms of, I guess, forms and stuff, do you guys, because you're doing the billing, you need the forms and stuff, all that stuff that part's taken care of. I understand that there will be some, we'll still have a few office supplies within the county that, us or you guys.
As far as, well, we do,
Well, I mean, you know, we're gonna probably have, whoever's gonna be the director or whatever, I mean, they're gonna need an office budget or something like that, so is that for us, is that for you?
no, we take care of that. I mean, we'll have some forms that we'll probably want to work with the county on for submission of, you know, a piece of equipment breaks or something like that. But as far as the, any of the electronic medical records, any other forms that we have, any of that stuff we take care of.
Okay, but in terms of, we would probably, I assume we would be, we need to be equipped with a computer and update something.
Oh, as far as equipment?
Yeah.
Station equipment, like, you know, living quarters, and I think the way we previously discussed, like station equipment, the infrastructure inside of the station, the county would do.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I mean, I wanna make sure, because if we, I know they, in Miami's budget, they had, you know, internet service, and lease data lines and stuff like that. I assume that we would have to,
Or the
part of the infrastructure.
Right.
Well, the contractor says we would do it.
Pardon?
The contract states that we do.
That we do that.
That's what it says in the contract.
Well, I assume, I just wanna make that all clear. You guys asked questions.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Real quick. What about tough votes or the, computer systems for on-night ambulances?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. That would be something that, once again, if there's a piece of equipment that we need to provide, we can provide it. However, if it's a piece of hardware equipment, I think the county wants to maintain it. So I guess that would be one thing we would want to talk about as far as maintaining. You know, I would probably categorize a computer on a ambulance as hardware or as a asset, as opposed to a disposable supply, so that would be something to also.
I think it would become part of the unit,
Right.
so, yeah.
So, what are we looking at, like, total cost of this? With this proposal and everything we have to maintain, what are we looking at total cost of that?
Total cost,
Yeah,
well, we don't
we
know
got
exactly.
utilities, buildings, ambulance, like our.
Well, that's something I should visit, I mean, I'm talking to you, so, I got another question, you were also, all the fuel, and, you guys are taken care of, and tires, and you, any general maintenance up to $1,000 a year, I understand.
Correct.
Transmission went out, you were kind of like.
Right, so really, it alleviates the county from having to worry about the routine stuff, the things that occasionally happen, things like that. That's just in there, so if, if a turbo goes out, or if, it drops an engine or something in the county ambulance, there would be a cooperative effort there between the county and us to get that fixed.
J.D., you can chime in here, I think we basically discussed, and we're gonna kind of rely on you, and maybe work with Chad, and if we decide to go this route, we're gonna, by Friday, we might need a little more hard figures, I mean, as to what we better set aside for the over and above operation. But,
We're gonna need that, no matter who we do.
exactly, that's what I'm saying, is, and as I went through here and kind of pulled out what Miami, I mean, it looked to me like something.
We know.
Chad just brought, maybe he could, has a list of the equipment, and you could tell them what
It's been copies of all the equipment that we have and our need for all the ambulances. I separated out the hard goods, ambulances, and, disposables, and I'm glad I did that currently, disposables separate. But I got a select, the red is the things that we don't even need anymore, we should probably dispose of, but I put them on the inventory. The greens are things I consider part of the ambulance themselves, and then the yellow is, what the hospital is gonna want back, and that is not required for an ALS ambulance to run. And that would be the video, the radioscope, and that's pretty much it. And the last thing would be the computers, which I was unclear if the hospital went back or not. From talking to IT, they don't care, but the hospital administration, seems to think they want them back. So that's why I asked the question. And one of them barely works, and the other one doesn't work at all, so, and we have two others, so we have 4 total.
Those are the ones that you have in ambulances?
Right, the two we have in ambulance obviously work, and the other 2 are our backup. One doesn't work at all, and the other one is barely working. You have to really baby it.
So what are you looking at,
For those tough books themselves, base rate, without all the software and everything, is about $2,500 each. And we would want at least 2, and if, depending on how many vehicles we end up with, we're gonna need at least 2, well, at least.
They're transpo, I mean, we're actually, have to have probably, we have a fly car, which we're talking about, you're gonna have one in there.
Right, and that
So we're looking at probably 3.
3 minimum, possibly 4. Now, that's the base rate, without the software, without all the other stuff, that's just the book. And, I'm sure there's other options out there, I know but we'd have to be compatible, either way, so.
Now, the heart monitors,
Yeah, and what I did was I listed the new price, and then I listed the condition of the product, so they kind of have an idea. On our heart monitors, they're 12 years old each. New, they're $35,000, for the new, but, again, their, life expectancy is about 8 years, according to the manufacturer, and we have them, they're 12 years old, so they're 4 years beyond their useful dates. Now, they're functioning, they've been checked annually, update and every maintenance, but, they're gonna need to be replaced. For new, we have to go to the next version up, and that'd be, about 35 each, and then, or we can go with, refurbished, and we can get those for about 10 each, the last I checked. Anyway, so that's our equipment, where we stand.
But you're not considering that an immediate need?
No, that's not an immediate need, but that's something I like to invest in the first year at least. At least one. Because what we're gonna do is, we're gonna put the fly vehicle, we're gonna need another. Well, you have yours, obviously.
Bob's outline.
Well, right, we can discuss that later. Yeah.
Probably the life pack wells, that's what you're
Yes,
talking
sir,
about.
it's a heart monitor.
I'd be kinda nervous about putting refurbished ones, or used or anything.
Well, refurbished, actually, they're factory refurbished, they're certified, that they're, in a lot of places use them, so I mean, it's up to,
That would probably be another item that you probably want to consider, kind of like a vehicle where you set up some of the replacement,
Yeah.
replacement program.
I guess my thinking was is because of the equipment here and knowing some of these other things we're doing in our budget, hopefully we're gonna be in this thing for a long time, that some of our capital expenditures for ambulance, my car, those kind of things, that we may have to do a 3 to 5 year debt, we should spread it out a little bit longer. I mean, our last ambulance, that's the way they bought it. And that allows us not to have to be hit so hard, because some of these other nations, we don't know where we're at. I mean, I'd rather have the extra operational budget a little bit high and end up with, extra money at the end of the year that we can either pay off some of the debt or buy a new monitor or something like that. And, I'm just thinking we're somewhere in $175,000, give or take, is what we might have to budget, which I think is still a little higher than when you take out the things that, Miami has, that's still just a little bit higher than covering things, and I think that's way more than covered, but I think we're wrong. I don't know what you've had a chance to look or consider that, and we don't know exactly what the hospital, what we're gonna be paying rent there.
No, I tried to check this out earlier, this morning, talked about it, and, they don't know. They don't know what they want off, what they want to rent it for, they don't know. And there's one more person who can answer that question, and that's, John. And he hasn't come back yet. On the ambulances, we have, two that have some issues right now that we're working on.
Are there boxes on the ones that are the boxes good?
Yeah, they're
So
fine.
we could replace the chassis and just,
Remount,
you know,
and that would be an option, yes, sir.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of my thinking on the first, and then if this thing goes good, then somewhere down the line, I wouldn't mind having a.
Brand new.
Yeah, brand new.
That would be it.
But I mean, like I said, we Band-Aided this thing for so long.
Well, no, one of our ambulances is, 12 years old,
Yeah,
so,
going on 13, yeah.
and actually, to be honest with you, that one's running better than the other two, so.
So out of the three, which ones would we need to replace?
Definitely, unless we figure out, we've sent Medic 3 in about 10 times, that's not an exaggeration, to find out what's wrong with it. Unless we find out what's wrong with it, to stop failing it from starting, that would be the first one I would place.
Which one?
The first one on the list, the 2004 Medic 3.
Repeated failure to start, that's kind of important.
Luckily, it's after we get to our destination usually.
See, where you guys,
Started shopping.
if you guys have 5-speed in there and you on the hill, just leave it parked on the hill. And you can-
We could, yeah, exactly. Well, it's supposed, that's what they can't use, so we can just roll down the hill. There, that will be fine.
It's hard.
Have insurance policy.
Right. So, I mean, anyway, so that's what we want to do. And of course, 4, it's just of its age and its mileage, we want to get rid of that one also. Yeah, those are items that we don't need. The extra Furno stair chairs are just backed up and they're really old and hard. And I just put them on the inventory list because we have them. Little
Maybe
second
we need
page.
hand radios.
Yeah, one of the things
Yeah, maybe.
that we would encourage, because of how we kind of build the system, is to budget for a few more handheld radios. That's something that is really good to have, just to have in EMSers' hands.
Well, I think, yeah, are they, I know we have them probably 500 with the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good ballpark figure.
Yeah.
That's
Does
what
it
I,
have to be the 800?
Yeah, for the,
They don't have to be the 800?
they do not have to be the 800 now.
the 500 is high, because we buy like bulk stuff from these guys all the time, and we can get pretty good
Yeah,
pricing.
we help
Eight
you back.
hundred would be like next gen of,
Yeah,
that one stuff is coming.
Yeah, it is.
I hate to buy something that's.
It's just very expensive, and I don't think.
I think you have to talk about two other things. You're talking price, we're talking the 800 megahertz.
Right. That's what Jeff's talking about, the 800
The
megahertz.
trucks are already equipped with 800 megahertz.
And how much does the county currently use 800?
You know.
No.
And we got 3 handhelds, that's what's on my list, is the 3 handhelds.
Okay.
And we don't ever use them.
So that would probably be something that, you're thinking ahead, you're thinking right, but
Yeah.
that would probably be a cost you wouldn't want to incur, because 800 stuff is very expensive.
Yeah, I just know that there's talk about the next gen, possibly within 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, 2 years is.
Well, they gotta get the cell phone issue. We got that stuff through grants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, that's why there's no cost on there on those are gotten through grants, so there's no, one of them belongs to us. The radios, yeah. So those three 800 megahertz radios, those were on grants, and those, there's actually 4 of them, one of them belongs to the hospital, so I don't think 3 on the list.
You know which green?
I do not, but I can find out.
Usually the Homeland Security grant took care of a lot of the 800s.
You know, that was it, wasn't it? Yeah, that was it.
That was a big thing, countywide, or statewide, they came through DOT money, came through with Homeland Security money, bought 800 radios for everybody. These dispatchers, centers are putting them in their consoles, but nobody's using them, and we're finding this out, where we go, we're using them, and we're putting them to good use. And even by researching 800s, we've found companies that sell them really reasonable. After events, big events come in, president comes to town, they all have to have 800s when the president leaves town. They leave the radios behind, so they've got stockpiles of these that we can get our.
I believe there's some handhelds in Effingham as well. 800
And we did use them, I shouldn't say that, we did use them, we utilized them during Amelia Earhart this year, and it was very helpful.
I know law enforcement.
So the question is, when would the county go to move to that system? That would be one.
Well, the county, the dispatch center has the technology to read it. When I was checking for the Amelia Earhart, they do have it, we have some issues on,
Does law enforcement use?
I don't think so, no.
They don't use it.
They don't, the dispatch center, though, I had to get them to switch something on for them to use it with us.
Oh, really?
For Amelia Earhart, but, and we have to check on labeling and channels. There were some issues there, but, they can do it, but we can't talk to anybody else. We can talk to you guys. We can type ourselves.
And you can't page off of it.
No, I mean, of course, you can't pay it off.
And you can't scan off of it.
We can't scan off the 800, but you can scan the other 800 channels.
You can hear what they're saying, you just can't talk.
Right, exactly.
So that Medic 5 is the best vehicle, that's the unit that you currently have.
That and probably the one in Effingham,
Yeah.
Which I didn't have access to, so I don't know.
but it's a 6-liter as well, so it's gonna show its face probably.
Yeah, and that problem I listed there tonight, that just happened yesterday, so we're getting it fixed, yeah.
Well, I just want, do you can relay it back to Aston Hospital, I don't think we've probably done our part to keep the equipment up, vehicles up like we probably should. And I applaud you guys for working with what you've been working with. hopefully the next generation as we go on, that we're gonna try to improve that. And, have a little more dependable deal, so.
We appreciate it. Crews have been working really hard to keep them going on their own sometimes.
And we appreciate that, because it's, I can just see, I mean, I got a brother and nephew, if they had done this kind of equipment, they quit farming real quick.
Well, I don't mean to put the air conditioning issues on there, but it's actually big, it's not just our comfort, it's patients is what we're concerned ourselves with. So,
Well, we want something that's dependable. I mean, you know, you may have the best, you know, we've got good personnel, you can have it, but if you can't get the equipment there,
they can all come to us.
be pretty hard going up and down the street, you know, pushing a cart up and down the street, and then waiting for another ambulance somewhere to come in, but, anyway. Other questions I got, I think it said somewhere, if I remember right, in the contract, that you would be willing periodically to come give us a report, just kind of give us updated reports.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't remember.
And we have some ideas about some early on, and we've already talked about some of this stuff, but some early on studies to mine the data that we need to really know about a few issues. So those are gonna be some early on research projects, but yeah, the reports are your guys' anytime you need them, so.
Okay. I assume that, are you willing, in these initial stages to work with Judy and Chad and helping us in the next 2-3 days, get kind of a rough budget, so I think we need to prioritize the hard equipment that we need to replace, and we need to know what the day-to-day operational costs are gonna be over the budget, the services that you're providing in this contract. Because I think our goal was Friday to have these numbers kind of plugged in. And if we're a little high, okay, because we may modify them or republish the budget anyway, but, I just want to make sure the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed, and it's new to us. I mean, it's not, and it's gonna be new to you, I mean, you know, working totally on our system, it's gonna be a little new. So, I mean, this first year is gonna be a little bit awkward. I mean, you know, our learning, I should say, hopefully it's not gonna be awkward, it's gonna be a learning experience. But,
Well, to answer your question, absolutely, no problem working, with these guys to figure out what you guys need. You know, we're a little bit behind the 8 ball as opposed to these guys who've been working with the equipment, know what's there, things like that, so, but any assistance that we can, provide to help that process in the next few days. One of the other things is if, you know, plans get in the works, and even sometimes if you decide to get a new ambulance, and it's not gonna be in until first of the year, and sometimes there's delays, quite often there's delays in those things, and if it doesn't get here till February or March, whatever, we can assist in other ways too, if we need to bring one of our other, extra units over and run those, if it's in better shape than some of these, we can do that, whatever, to help out in the interim. You're right, it's gonna be, it's gonna be a transition.
well, and this is the thing that I think, as I see this, that most of this capital outlay stuff, we won't have them until after the first year. So anything that we do, we need to have in the contract, not you guys, but I mean, if we're getting a new ambulance, if we're getting, all the stuff, it needs to be the pay for coming. But after the first year, after we get the revenue come in, because I guarantee we have nothing left in the ambulance budget to do anything.
Understand.
And, so when we're working at it, I mean, that's, even our facilities at Effingham, I think we discussed that briefly, is I think we work with some local contractors that, you know, if they can complete it, say by November or somewhere late in the fall, with the payment coming after the first year, because that'll be fairly substantial cost too. And, you know, your input, JD, that's probably gonna be one of your first jobs, to get the ball rolling, and kind of get something, because we need to get that. We gotta do that regardless. You know, who we do, whether,
We got about this.
we like to put out bids, right, that's what I'm saying, but he needs to get an idea of what we absolutely have to do, and get a cost on that, so.
And I think with everything that's involved, plumbing, electrical, probably need to find a local that can be a general on it and let him sub it out.
But as far as Chad's equipment, and even, like, just to reiterate Brent's comment, was his issues with equipment and trucks, things like that, that's a good thing that we have, is our resource pool has vastly increased, where, you know, just for instance, in Osage, Donna called and said, I've got a problem with the truck. I said, I'll have you a truck, as soon as you get it scheduled, I'll have a truck down there for you. There was no, we're down a truck or hook wrap, you know, there was none of that, and that's kind of positive.
Yeah, that's really, really.
Well, that's the thing that I like in a way of whoever, whatever you're partnering, whether you know, and I look at this as a partner agreement too, or whether we partner with Miami or partner with any other counties, I mean, you can share hopefully those resources. And so that we're not a Johnson County, I don't think we handle everything.
Nobody's Johnson County.
What's that?
Nobody's Johnson County except for them.
What do events is stipulated before?
It depends on if you want a new one, or, like he was talking about, a remake.
Yeah, so you keep the box, if the boxes are in good shape.
Yeah, I've heard of wide range too.
So what would be like offhand without the box? Something,
So you're saying re-on one of the current boxes?
yeah,
On a new chassis?
yeah.
$100,000, just ballpark.
You know, I think that's probably the one, but I think that would cover everything,
Yeah.
and everything, so.
Sometimes they quote, you know, 80, 90, if you don't have any refurbing to do on the box. Sometimes there's refurbing to do on the box, but
That's what you're.
that gives you a little cushion in case you have to, in case you got something with the box that's wrong.
How long is the remount take?
Depends on the company, depends on how backed up, but,
Usually 90 to 120 days.
ballpark.
Is the ballpark.
Would we do?
We've done remounts, we bought new, we bought used, you name it.
Sometimes you can find really good.
Yeah, sometimes you can find really good
We've,
used.
yeah. We've lucked out a couple of times and got some really good.
Yeah, I will, I found, you know, that you don't know. I mean, sometimes your end users with the service is quit, and they're just trying to get in, they're probably in pretty good shape. You don't know whether they're a lemon from somebody else either.
That's another nice thing, we've got contacts with people in that same industry who'll call us, you know, regularly, and say, I've got two of these, are you guys interested now? Yeah, I mean, if we are, if we're not, we're not, but I mean, there's always people calling us with that.
I guess I'd probably be a little more comfortable is definitely getting the new, knowing 6 of us that we got is have at least a new chassis and figuring out the box, and then one of these things come up later in the year, next year, we've got, looks like we're gonna have a little extra money, then you can always grab onto one of those. Cause I've seen the price for $30,000 to $40,000, and that's not all bad, so. Any more questions?
No, so we'll have an idea on total budget, what we're looking at, total cost, we're looking at, spending.
Well, I think tops is 800, I mean, depending on what you figure on your debt, I mean, what you're gonna, how long you prolong that over. And, but if you plugged in, say, $175,000 for operating, which I think is plenty, it may come in less than that, if you're looking at, what, 825? plus then whatever if you had say, you budgeted $175,000 for capital outlay, and you prorated that out over 5 years, that's 35,000. That's what you'd have, it's low interest, so you'd have close, just roughly say $40,000 in debt service to that.
Debt service.
I think that's over, you do 5 years. And my thinking is if you've got, like if we over budgeted, we can always use any surplus money to pay that off if we want to, or else expedite the update on equipment. So you're looking at roughly $855,000. I think I'm back to some different numbers, that's fine, but I think that should be, I visited with Jay, those are kind of figures that we, in that ballpark, that would probably make it work.
I have a question for me.
Yeah.
How many personnel are you guys looking to have full time?
Total, it depends on which shift layout we go with, so I can't really answer that yet.
I was trying to figure out what shift layout you're at, why it's like.
So that's your bottom line.
How many do you have now?
Full-time employees, we have 12.
I will say this, we traditionally do not run, what hospital EMS services run, which in this case, and in some other cases, are 40 hours a week. We typically do, more of a standard EMS rotation with 24-hour shifts. But there are still some, fluctuations. We have a light schedule and a heavy schedule, depending on what people are interested in. So I can't answer that.
Okay.
It just depends on the interest of the personnel, and first and foremost, it depends on the interest of the current employees. And then after that, any additional personnel we need to hire, so.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You do provide all the training and education.
Yes.
If there's new recruits.
And whether that be,
retraining.
Continuing education as well.
and whether that be the EMS provider or even on the community, we talk about community stuff, but we do a lot of on that side too. So whether it be community, general public, or EMS provider.
So you guys do initial courses in instruction?
Yeah. We just got a paramedic, we partner with community colleges, we just got a paramedic course done, completed, EMT classes. Now, the A is so new, we haven't done any A initial courses yet, we've done A transition courses, but, and whether it be CPR, AED, first aid, the community, or just anything in that realm, I was gonna mention, anything in that realm, whether it be standbys, whatever it be for, on the community end of things, that's on our end too.
Do you guys ever do anything in counties with like first responders?
We do a lot. One of the first things we did, I would say, was help get first responders squared away with protocols and a medical directorship, which some of them did not even have, so.
Do you use the same medical director on all the services?
No. Our preference is to find a local physician that's interested in EMS. If there are none, which I don't think there will be, if there are none, we have a physician that is a medical director of other services that sits on the board of EMS. Goes to national conferences. You really can't ask for much more than that from a physician. She's also a paramedic. She's a physician and a paramedic. So she would gladly do it if there is no local interest. But let me ask JD and Chad that. Are there physicians with significant?
Just our current medical director.
With an interest in EMS? Okay, great. So that's where we start.
do probably need to fill out an actual budget sheet, just make sure we're on the same page, because we know what,
Well, I think we could maybe use those figures right now, plug them in, we can modify, I think, I'm just basically looking at.
I'm just thinking of vehicle upgrades, facilities, utilities, that might still be a little below.
Well, the facility upgrades is gonna be, like, facility, everything, I have that figured in the capital outlay.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, that'd be part of the total budget.
Yeah, that would figure into the 5-year payout.
Well, we need to, we definitely get something down on budget, so we're on the same page, so we need to see what total expenses are gonna be.
Well, when I subtract out, we usually Miami everything, but pull out what they're gonna do, it comes up to 120. And there's a few questionable items in here, whether we're reliable for those or not, so. That has $20,000 built in for building maintenance and repairs, so that over and above utilities.
So if that would be like the cost of upgrade, we're gonna get that for $20,000.
But I'm saying that's part of the day-to-day yearly maintenance. If I'm saying is the facility upgrade, that again is a long-term capital improvement. And that goes on, I would put that on the spread. So I'm just saying that there's probably $120,000, that's probably most every year's plus, and I don't think that's gonna be a little bit, maybe a little bit high.
We need to probably get some firm numbers on that stuff.
Yeah, well, is there local, like, FBM contractors and everything, or whatever?
They'll be coming from out here, out of
Ashton.
Well, you wanna wait for them to try to give us some numbers real quick, or stuff, or not?
Yeah, I think that's what we kinda left, that you guys are gonna get together to try and,
You know, to be JD and Chad and stuff, but of course they could use these guys as consultants, but.
we're talking about like, we know what this is, and as far as, we know what the subsidy looks like, with the expenses. Like, we're trying to figure out like what we're gonna have.
What you have to budget for.
Correct.
Yeah.
Total, what's the total budgeted amount that we need to put in? So. We got some upgrades, we got ambulance. We got build in something possibly for the second one. We got some equipment that we need to.
Is that what you want built in immediately? You want an ambulance built in immediately?
No, that's what capital, we wanted it, but I mean,
But you didn't
I had
want
that
that.
figured,
Okay.
and I'm only speaking, I mean, I'm thinking that those are some, to spread this thing out a little bit, is to put that in capital out in a debt,
Okay. You're talking like just the station improvements type of deal, like building walls and putting in fixtures and things like that, that's what you're.
Well, there's 20,000, I mean, if we wanted to do a little, even just a little bit of upgrade, I mean, I'd hate to, if we're renting a facility, I'd hate to update it a whole bunch, I mean, we want, there's some.
No, yeah, I'm completely.
But I'm saying the
one.
one at Effingham, also, I mean, there's gotta be a complete redo of that. I mean, we've got the shelves, it's a matter of plumbing and getting the equipment and stuff in there, but I would have that figured in it as, in addition to ambulance, like a flight bar. And I think we've got the fly on, it's just a matter of getting it equipped.
We got an ambulance probably that needs to be replaced.
Yeah, we would want January 1.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, that's what we need to set aside.
Right. No.
But then that, and this is like possibly a second one that may, I don't know what the time is on that, we won't know until.
Well, but the thing is that if you have a newer ambulance, and we got a pretty good Effingham, we've got a pretty potential fly car, And you're still gonna have two more reserve, three more. So you got five altogether.
Well, yeah, that's the medic board there, where it's not, it's also got, we got mileage and it's not,
But
that's what I'm concerned about.
Right, well, but
You're
three,
gonna drop one of the emails here.
So it looks like number three would probably be the one immediately.
Are you getting rid of one completely?
Or they're replacing.
No, not replacing, are you?
Out west, there's that.
Oh, okay.
Rescue.
Yeah, the rescue.
yeah,
So one of those will drop, it'll go to.
Correct.
The rescue.
I don't think that's what's on this list, though.
No, well, see, that, they got,
Well, that's only,
you
that's
got
just the
three,
hatch.
you got three
Right.
actors, you got three.
Yeah, they have
actors.
3 year dash.
Yeah,
Three years,
one
one
in
in-
Effingham.
well, two in Effingham.
Fire department.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we'd have one
So
out
that'll
there.
drop one.
Yeah, so you'd have 4, total 4. Yeah.
We also employ pipe fitter plumbers, bonded electricians, and we do have general contractors that work for us as well. So, I mean, we do have that resource available for us just in case, things were to fall through. On this type of scale, we definitely would want to revenue out of some of those hands or whatever. But if
We
it's
can't buy-
untimely or whatever, we do have that option as well.
Well, I mean, we know when we probably should have been moving on that, we know that we have to upgrade those facilities. And so I think we're ready to move on that, because with the way the weather's been, I know a lot of contractors are busy, and you're gonna have to find somebody who's gonna have more free time, because we're probably looking at least a 60-day renovation project, I'm guessing out there. So, if we want that up and going, or at least functional, there may still be some.
Yeah, I mean, they can start a little crude, but, I mean, build right into it within a very short time frame.
Otherwise, they can stay with JD.
Did you catch that?
Did I miss something?
Oh, wait.
If
I'm
we
pulling
don't-
the truck on
If the facility's not done, you got an extra room down in both girls.
There's a house just outside town.
Post 9.
Is your garage big enough to put names in?
Mhm.
Okay.
Heated.
Okay. Do you want to wait on those figures, or are you ready to, or do we want to take action, do we need anything more, or what?
You just need to determine a provider first, right? That's what this was about.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right, but, I guess, I think the point that I'm satisfied, I think that, I'm ready to make a motion. I would move we do an agreement, with, Tex on a 3-year contract, with contract as presented.
I would suggest, I think we need to review the contract.
You want to do it? Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And then, are we going to meet again, Friday? Do the budget standard? Okay. Do we have time to review it today, or how do we do it? Because I think we need to be moving.
Well, he needs to, prep to review.
Well, I don't know what your availability is even today, but, I have a court hearing at 1, I don't know, maybe an hour, maybe 5:30.
Yeah, that's
You-
fine.
I mean, you could stipulate
I don't think we're gonna have a big problem, Steve.
barring any contractual changes, that's.
It's whatever you suggest. I mean, if you want to review it, let's review it. And
Yeah, I would suggest that we, maybe take that on Monday. We should have.
So we'll have the other figures in too.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Whatever, that's.
You guys, anything else for months right now?
I had nothing.
Okay. All right, well, thanks, guys, and then,
If there's anything we can do,
next couple of days, we'll help we'll see what we can do, and
So you just have to try to meet with them that or what?
Well, I'm just gonna talk to them right now.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want us to do anything with them until we get contract.
So you
right?
get approved, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just hold off until we hear from you guys.
Okay, and Monday, we'll have our decision.
okay. Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna give you guys a take that section.
Well, you're supposed to have some new public stuff. Chris, Chad,
Take care.
Coming up.
thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I need to leave that, and I have for meeting
Immediately what?
at 10:00. 11:50,
Okay.
I don't know, not sure when we'll be finished. Can't tell, like, I'm up and if we get that late here.
I called him this morning, so I will check with him.
Didn't we have another job?
He's inputting him, I think you're still planning by end of the week. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
Well, I don't think I've met you before, I'm sorry.
I thought I had, but.
Maybe we have.
Jeff Shields.
Yeah, we have, yes.
Okay.
Wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
No problem. Anything I need.
You're not old enough to have that problem now.
Yeah,
Now
thanks for
it's
that,
far.
thanks for putting.
That helps, hopefully. I try to break down the cost, and I do, more thorough, but, actually, I looked up everything, so that's it. And that's replacement cost, so some of that's not gonna be worth that much.
Sure.
But that's how much it costs us to replace it, so.
Chad has been extremely helpful.
We appreciate it. Yes. This is it, we're all kind of in this thing together.
Yeah, and that's it,
It don't matter, I mean, we're still a part of the process, whether we hire them, plan, whatever, we're still part of the process, so.
We're just gonna, it's a great opportunity, really, you know, it's a good opportunity to get something new going. So, we got the personnel, so.
Well, that's the thing, I mean, we've got some of the basic, outside your expectations, I feel terrible about that.
Well, it is what it is, you know, and, I've worked in workplaces, at least the people good and everybody's been nice, makes it a lot easier.
We did. Well, like on the, contractual, that's like KC, like alternate, that's trying to figure out if there's, you know, 3 of us over the course of a year, you know, that's about.
Yeah. Two thousand 11, we used HAL. We can. How's Larry this morning?
Okay.
Okay.
Not commissioners, wasn't
Yeah, that's just proposed, so.
Well, and actually, I take that, 2011, we only used about half of it. we don't want that general too much of it.
Well, I'm thinking we got two newer, or really three newer that we haven't owned on. That's like any KC or any type of training we've done, basically contractual.
And then that would also include the contract with Tom.
No, I didn't touch that, did you? I thought that'd be free.
You hear that, Tom?
No, you're gonna charge us. We need to put you on payroll.
I'd rather be an advisor.
Price probably would be.
Hey, I would a lot rather be in an advice role than a voting role, so.
Yeah, I will be
We have used.
thankful of that.
I would be.
Privilege.
Would you raise it too much? I wouldn't raise it that much, but I think we could raise it a little bit. We haven't used quite half of it this year. We have a fall.
Yeah, we also have a new one though, coming out.
Right.
2013, would be like mileage, traveling, everything.
Well, of course, if we pool it together, if you use a vehicle, we don't have to charge you.
Cause I think I figured about, well, those KC, they're about 150, I think sometimes, the training sessions, I think they're roughly about, keep the government institutes, about 150, I guess it was.
If you attend all of them yet, training.
The KGIs, I think I've got like more than half of them done. I've only got about 3 or 4.
What do we have?
Sometimes they only offer like once a year, or once every 2 years.
Once every 2 years.
Yeah.
Takes 2 years to get through it.
Usually west or beyond Salina, are typically gone. Got a couple in Wichita, but that's about it. It's further than Salina, not usually attended, just because like it's a ways out there.
What do we do under commodities?
Let's see.
Would that be
Yeah, it's
reimbursed or would that be?
Utilities, I mean,
We don't have any utilities.
utilities is up above.
That's 600 is around all of those,
Mm-hmm.
but do we need 13?
That'd be like, mainly like possible computers. I mean, I don't know what you're gonna need. I don't know what new commissioner's gonna need. I mean, yeah, lights themselves, obviously, we try drops, because I don't think we're used to them here.
No, that can be commodities, but if you. What is our KAC membership?
That one wasn't really sure of. I assume that was
Well,
budget.
then contractual.
Yeah, but do you know what the dollar amount is? I mean,
I can tell you.
We'll do those contracts, then they have to, we do them the first year,
Yeah,
first year, we do
yeah.
them.
Court?
Your dues to the association.
What about
KCCA?
What about KCCA? Do we pay something for KCCA?
That's it, Kansas County Commissioner Association for her son.
Okay, well, what about KC, is KC coming out of
Okay,
it?
so that county general.
How much is KC?
And NACO?
Yeah, NACO's National Association of Counties. NACO is National Association of Counties. KC is Kansas Association of Counties. I thought maybe KCCA would just merge with KC at some point, I don't know. This is a job for all.
Which is KC is, so what is it, closest, back up to KC.
KAC is $3,419.53. $3,419.53.
Why was actual personal service, was it an extra week or something in there for pay period or something?
I think it's like when there's transition of new elected versus old, so there's got an overlap.
$400 for Nico.
Yes, $4,000 right there.
400, oh, yeah.
There's $4,000 right there in memberships. Now we trade that KAC membership right now. That's pretty important. Even though it's not part of the line. It's not even good for much they say. Well, can we trim just a little bit, that 30%? Well, I'm content with the salary level.
Put a little bit of, well, that was just to even it out, just to make it, that was the best one, for that. I had 500 in there for capital outlay, computer equipment, just kept it, so. That, we could probably start setting aside something in the next year, after that.
I would contract at 85, is what I guess I'd split that different. I think that's the biggest part of it is.
One thing I wasn't sure of was, with new, I don't know, yeah, it's made in different meetings, I mean, that could get to be.
Yeah.
That was what I was trying to figure out, like, about one, that we could really, the class, actually. I think it's about, some of them are a little bit more than that, some are a little bit less.
150.
Yeah, should have been,
150.
150.
yeah,
Plus your other expenses.
yeah, for, travel. That's why I kind of tried building that in, I wasn't sure how much.
Well, say a week went to 3.
There's usually, I think coming up in the year.
Where they get you, they'll have no hotels and then because open meetings, we can't room together, so.
Well, and that's what, I think travel and training, that's what kind of, that was just my best attempt to try and get it as close as we could, so.
Well, I'll tell you what, you cut back a little bit and we start getting short, but I'll cancel the open meeting.
Okay. We would go down to 9, if 100.
I had 85. Yearly. I cut back the computers. You know, $800 is enough on that.
that's what I was just saying, like, I could turn that out.
Well, I think that capital outlay is not bad, I mean, I can understand when you
Yeah.
have to do that, but, I just kept the commodities back to 800, instead of 13. But I'm content with, what we're going through, everything else, I know it's only a 1.85% increase, but, do we ever get caught? Where we have an extra pay period that throws that off once in a while? Well, yeah,
We kind of, salary being split at 20, I think, just 26 now. Is it?
well, the reason I ask, because I know every 4 years, something, we pay our pastor by the week, every 4 years. You pay him on Sunday, there was that extra Sunday, and you didn't have that in your, you figured 52 weeks. Yeah. Every 4 years, you pay an extra. So I would think that would also apply, and that would throw your budget off. But, I ain't gonna holler too much on that, it's just, if we trim these others down just a little bit, that put us closer in line to where the 2011 was.
Okay.
This year wasn't 26.
Okay. So, I think that takes $2,700 off their job. $2,800 off, and that's it, that puts you right back down to where we were in 2011. I'll live with that. I come up with 75.3, and then you come up with,
And 76.3, what else we cut out?
well, I lowered contractual 85, and I lowered
Mhm.
commodities to 800. Oh, that was 500, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So I'd be 75.8,
okay.
and that's still good. Thanks, Pat, I don't know what I told you, thanks.
Okay.
You-
Next birthday.
Are we gonna celebrate yet through Monday?
Hey, John.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Were you coming up anytime soon?
So it's your birthday?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, let's get it.
yeah, Mary, we want the headline, commissioners celebrate the county councilor birthday. That's what we want the headline.
The non-residential structures.
Can I ask what my budget is? What does everyone say?
Well, I think,
Yeah, got it.
did you submit one?
The last couple of reports that we had the loss, the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I tried. Yeah, I'll draw into it.
Because we'll do the years.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Pretty much.
Yeah, and
That's one that's there.
Oh, I guess so, it is right. year. You got the rest, Johnson,
I did put my health insurance in my budget for that too, but I did put my employee part for the,
Yeah. You got, you and one, oh, I see, you didn't add that.
I didn't put it, I forgot to put it in.
No, I mean, we wanted the contract hammered down by that date so we could move forward. And on cash basis, we can, we can renew it each year, but if we had. On cash basis. So, that's one question I was gonna ask as far as, so does that have any implications?
My concern, it's very
Especially
efficient.
if it's in the remote,
I actually don't think we can stop it.
they both just trash it on the recycling. If they said that,
well,
they
yeah,
just will ask for a copy of the current and previous contract.
it shouldn't be in there, it should be in the wording, it should be a part of that.
Or, some of it
Shouldn't
be involved in it.
But it is.
That don't be
Oh, yeah, it would be.
With the other one,
Yeah. I can't find it. Is this your copy, Pauline?
Well, I gave you a copy, but
Well,
I'll print another one.
I know I've got yours here somewhere.
Well, if they do get it, then it's.
My scribbling, isn't it?
Right.
okay, this is like right there.
Speak of Murph, they. Why don't you put this in between Kansas State and Street, right?
Yeah, there's more traffic than we've got.
Mhm.
I mean, they can't see.
Right, I think they're that's about Murph is North Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was down there.
And what she has? Yeah, yeah.
Actually, yeah, well, I know it's getting low, because I just wanted to think when I read the RFP,
How did you decide that?
From the airport, 35, from the airport.
What are you gonna, are you gonna enter?
That's normal. You have a hand, you have, I think it's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
That's part of there.
that's,
so this is really an issue.
Well, yeah, this is what the difference is.
yeah,
Be a little closer.
it's a grant, we better,
I didn't realize that.
Wait a minute.
yeah, so it's fine.
Our current.
I also took, just in case, 5% for overages or something like that, 'cause I looked at, nobody's seen it on that.
So
So,
we got the, but that point is that they,
yeah,
On those members of their service, and everything was always mentioned, that, yeah, we have somebody
yeah.
in this area, they'll be there in 2 hours.
Just give it
So,
all
but,
older build pictures, and just so we can try to do with the elevator. I just did 5% on this number.
yeah, I don't know whether you read,
Seems like it's just waiting here on pay.
oh, they were,
About taxes.
saying after I'm paying the, trying to get people to come in.
Oh.
Insurance.
mhm.
Now, we kind of agreed that the amount for we're doing, probably doing
But
some of that.
We, yeah, if they think, I mean, we can add some there, but if they don't come up with it.
But
It's not critical,
if always,
obviously, it's not critical.
would we even need to go through?
No,
Would we just directly contract with the
This one, I
subcontractor?
know what's from.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything really.
I think it's a good
It's a
idea.
project.
It's a great idea.
They wanted the,
And we probably have truck drivers in town that would love to have them on
Not
the
critical
day
work.
or something.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't think you can do
Big
that.
span, 85.
Three trailers?
yeah,
Oh, eight?
that was,
Possibly, you'd have one.
forties or fifties, I guess they used to have an actual director of Warren Hall. So Bruce supposedly Warren Hall board trustee these days, the director and the secretary, that amount. You know, and we had talked about, like, well, why don't you just subtract it from what they pay back in rent? You know, whether it should be something like that. That seems odd that I still think it's odd that the trustees don't run that, or maintain that. We had talked about possibly Joe, or something like that. Joe's basically over there all the time too, so.
So basically, the interest will stay the same, I mean,
Yeah, anybody can changes, but I think there's probably a change coming for 2014. That's what we basically talked about.
oh, okay.
I think you need to invite the Memorial Hall board,
Yep.
because they're the ones that do the lease and, that make the decision on what to do, so you'd either need to bring that back in-house, or it would be their decision on how to handle it.
Mhm.
You want me to contact them?
You know, make a change, 2013, I mean, as far as the overall trustees, but, yeah, we can set up an appointment at some point, and, yeah, not critical.
Okay. Do you want me to contact them, or do they come up annually or anything?
So, no,
That's the first time I was seen any of them there for a couple of years. And it was really, really good.
Well, we need to get taking it once it's got a written lease on any of our facilities, so we definitely need to get that squared out. So I need to talk to, I assume I talked to Larry, we're talking about lease and he's a lawyer, so I will talk to him about that and mention your issue.
okay. It's something that definitely needs to probably be looked at pretty hard. I think it's just one of those things that was set up a long time ago and nobody's ever really looked at.
Well, I wonder if it was the county's contributions running the program. The school district was sponsoring the rec commission, but this was all with the county's addition.
That's kind of the way I understood it.
Hard to say.
That's probably a little better. Figure out what get. I discovered when Missy was doing, I had noticed on the first one she was doing, it was showing two different numbers from top and bottom. I couldn't figure out why it was doing that. So we got that
Okay.
straightened out. And anyway, it went from 141,442 down to 1,417,777. And that is with the new position left in. The combination, bid inspector and security.
Right. Sorry to interrupt, is there a time on Monday that we can block real quick?
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Thank
Thank you.
Sorry about that. You're good.
That's a good question.
What you need?
Staple.
Well, I got one here.
Here's one, is this yours,
Oh, that's probably it, yeah.
or is that somebody else?
That's probably it.
That doesn't come from here, I think.
This is still on.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was over. Wasn't a red stapler.
This one is yours?
It's not a red stapler.
Oh. I brought one from my office. It disappeared.
Red? Was it red?
No, it was the old style. I don't have anything that new in my office.
I have mine,
Talk about office space.
this is mine, I had,
She might be cheaper.
It was that style, but I don't think it was, I think it was blue.
if you could let me take it, maybe check in and
Keep having little things walking away out here, we're gonna put a camera up in here.
we have a camera.
Wasn't there one time like tags? I was told that somebody had tags put on every single piece of
When I
it.
first come, it was $5, you put a tag on it.
You still have them on the computers and stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
But back then, you couldn't spend more than $15. I'm sure Pauline seen it worse than that, $25, anything you spend over $25.
I've been here that long, John, it's 25.
Yours is only 29.
Yes.
Sometimes I wish, sometimes I'm glad. I know I asked you this, your stepping, is that just a one-time, well, you had a 3 and a 5, so I mean, that doesn't happen every 3 years, that doesn't happen every 5 years. That's just one time, that's your encouragement for just a little more, okay, because I want to make that clear, because otherwise that would make, the raises, so there's gonna be, a couple of them's gonna get a pretty good boost. Okay.
I do it that way, I mean, like I said, you can do it by title, going from deputy 1 to deputy 2, you can do classification different ways, but.
Well, I kinda like the incentive part and stuff, I think, I wouldn't wanna see it every 3 years, because that wouldn't be fair to other employees, you know.
And not trying to change anything on you, I do want to point out in the salary side,
Yeah, nothing
we
changed.
didn't discuss that on the salary side. The only thing that changed was Adam Potts. I didn't catch it, Missy did, but he was here, well, he's been here total. He started in 2004, then he left a real short time to come back. Then he was on military leave for a year and a half, but he'd been here 5 years. So in other words, he hadn't had any step increases, he'd just been here 5 years last week. So, I'm giving him a step increase, and I didn't reflect that in the budget, so it's about the difference of 30, 40. I wanted to point that out, that's the only thing.
That's not in there.
Huh?
You don't have that in here.
It's in here, yeah. If you look at
Yeah.
the old previous sheet, Adam Potts' salary will be different in front of this column. That's the only thing I'm changing that area. Well, he was gone about a year and 6 months, and to me, I feel he was serving our country, and now I'm counting his 5 years. That's my opinion.
I do too.
Technically, he's been here since 2004. So, there was only like 40 cents separating him from a new, somebody.
That's what it's supposed to do. See where it goes on when you're in the military service.
So, now, those bin inspection money, where do we say they went to?
That goes into the general fund.
What's
Is
the
that
addition?
a state statute, do we have to do, I didn't know whether it needed to be funded back, so that kind of covers your, because we would collect, we're gonna collect almost enough to pay for that position. I know it's still in the general pot, but it makes your budget look.
I got that, I really don't care where the money goes. I've always been funded fairly, and, it all depends on where you wanna see it. It's county's money, so I've never really been.
Well,
concerned.
yeah.
It does make tying everything better together when you do it that way.
Sheriff's office has always been in the general fund. Truthfully, it should be in the general fund. Because
Right.
it's not a and that's not a wide bin money, it's been in, that was a long time ago when they first split them out, but bin money.
It's like the work release fee money that's paid into the general fund. I kinda keep track of it for our purposes, but it's collected over at the treasurer's office and it goes into the general fund. And that's thousands of dollars a year. I don't know how much is that. So far the year, $9,000 so far for the year, so. No, that's been inspection. No, it doesn't have, but that's collected. And I guess the thing to chase on, to make sure it's on the housing, we're looking at, because I don't know what you plugged in for revenue, but it needs to be knocked down to nil or nothing compared to what we've had in years past. And for this year, it's $100,000, which you can see we've taken in $5,335.
Joseph?
I don't know how we've really ever done revenue projections, but I usually just try to turn in a sheet like this, but then there's a few of these. Like I said, some of them goes in general fund, some of it goes back into my fund, some of them goes into the special fund statutorily, like
If we had some software,
it's not a budgetary item.
some software would help us take care of that. Some software would probably simulate it and put it in graphical format so you can at least track to see what the changes are. Is that, what, are you using different software over there, or is that from courthouse? Is that Manatron software, or what is that?
No,
What you're showing us?
ours is just, what I do for us here is just an Excel spreadsheet. But over there, I mean, the printout, but I mean, it's just like, right off the top of my head, there's two, sex offender registration and concealed and carry registration are a non-budgetary item, because that's a fund that's generated, that's stated in the fund that's supposed to be specifically spent back on certain things. And then we got joint communications that has sales tax, which is similar. And then some of these go into the general fund, some of them, well, I'm trying to think what goes back into my fund. I don't know, when it comes time to the budget, like I said, I don't know how the projections are really set. If we just go from year to year is what we've done, unless somebody speaks up and says something.
I usually print out a, there's a worksheet that shows how much we've collected for the rest of this year. And compare it.
The two questions I had in salary were the additional $2 per hour for supervisor promotion on the law enforcement side, and there's one on the jail side, $1 an hour. What are, who do those go to, and what are those for?
Those are what I really.
Are they already getting?
No, I anticipated moving somebody into another sergeant spot, so I would have sergeant spot on both shifts, which about the time I get ready to do that, you have turnover and somebody leaves up. It's in there, like I'm looking at right now. Possibly be the only one right now that I could consider moving into a sergeant spot. And once again, that's just for somebody that's been here 6 or 8 years, that 10, 12 years. So in other words, if if that's an issue, it's not, but that's why that's in there.
Okay. You see what I was talking about?
And then, if you're looking at the top now, I think we got this right, if you're looking at the increases on the personnel side, 5.3 increase, that's, we're adding one position of 26,000, and 3% salary adjustments in there, that's where that increase is at. And also probably with the, increase in KP&F benefits was about 7,000 or 8,000 more. On the commodity side, that's the biggest, and that's the fuel, they ate up about 80 to 90% of that increase. Cause that was like a $15,500 increase. And that's based on what we spent over the last 12 months. And that's because of a rise in gas prices. Contractual, I kept it the same, but I may have a couple slight increases, but I'm gonna try and work within them. And there's really no other changes in that.
You have any other questions on this?
No, what we do need to get that revenue projection straightened out, because that's throwing us off this year, like we've got cash, we got some cash carryover, cash balance and stuff, because, you know, that housing thing is way behind.
Pauline, I didn't check, I don't know if you remember, were we able to check on that motor vehicle tax? Cause it's showing us collecting 26% right now. To see if we've got, if we're current on that as far as distributions. That's the amount, that's a little chunk of change there too.
I assume it'd be quarterly disbursements, I would assume.
What?
I said I'm assuming it'd be quarterly disbursements.
Quarterly disbursements. That's what I said, it looks to me like we've only got one in there, but we got two in there. It's down quite a bit, which I can't see it being down that much, unless there was some change legislatively that I'm not aware of. Who brought donuts?
Patrick, my birthday.
Your birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You have to
Have
have
one on you? I have one on you?
yeah, you have to sing to
I
him.
don't know if I heard it on the radio. On the radio? Doing excellent. Your wife doesn't turn you.
Well, usually I do, and actually I think it's great, because I've won it 3 times. So,
Yeah, we could have ice cream instead of donuts.
Carry up for the huge carry.
But that was what Brian was
We
saying.
put like a $10 bill, that's entrance.
So you're 46,
Yeah.
how old are you, Sheriff? You got the same age,
49. About just a big 5-0. Half century old, that's the way I look at it.
It's only 5 decades. It's only 5 decades. It's not bad.
I posted on county councilor website,
So we
Douglas, Levette, and Shawnee, got 2 paper copies of everything
I didn't know what that is. much time
And they're
and
at,
have it say, hold the cap.
they're,
They're the only ones that do, or don't?
everything is planned.
Well, I don't know that they're the only ones, they're the only ones that responded,
Oh,
and Shawn, did I say Shawnee?
Shawnee, Levette, and somebody else.
And Douglas, and they all said they don't keep paper copies,
They're just asking.
it's all electronic.
Sheriff's office,
So
everyone,
there's probably more of that, they just, those are the only ones that respond.
So far, yeah, I posted it at 9:51, and
can you go ahead and do that? Okay, great. Thanks. Consider the estimates. The last one that we did was May 14th, and the next one's gonna be September,
Last one was when?
May 14th. So she's gonna do an estimate, so we'll know what, how much more you get in September.
Pardon?
Said it could go, it could go general, but, yeah, with that. Any questions from John? His question?
I don't know.
See, last year you got 51,000 in September.
In housing revenue, or motor vehicle tax?
Vehicle.
Yeah, and if they're doing one
And
more
in October,
September.
there was like 11,000, and then in December, there's 25,000. So, you're looking.
So we should have 3 more disbursements, right?
But she was gonna get an estimate.
Did you say your budget is now, it was cut? It is now, and what was it cut from?
What I originally submitted is about 26,000 less than around there. And that's because we took out we combined positions as, I was gonna have 3 part-timers, but went to
Yeah.
1 full-time, and then I also had in there another 17,000 or something.
What's that number, one?
1.442644.
Two. Okay, and it is down to
1417777.
14, what?
177777.
Okay, okay, I got it.
That guy's over.
Thank you.
Okay.
Into this one, it's up to you.
Yeah, I think we're okay with the budget as what you proposed, I think we're okay with it.
Right now,
Yeah.
I understand.
no one's still out there, we identified our school taxes. I think, I've talked to you a little bit, but I think we might, we'll have to discuss something with you, because my thinking, and we have told the crew here, I think our thinking was maybe, using how many miles your Durango got on?
49.
And I think we need, at some point, we need, if we're gonna take that over, different.
Right.
So we think about it, we kind of talked about it, that would be a pretty good flag car for us to get started with. Means we've got a hand, now it'd be just a matter of,
Okay.
sometime this fall, getting it,
But
getting decals put on it, whatever needs to be done. So, be keeping that in mind.
I'll keep
Be
the
watching.
miles, I'll keep the miles down on which, that's the one that does me a lot of miles, so.
Well, could you wax it every week? No,
It should be in the best shape, all of them.
as long as my fellow commissioners here kind of agree with that, I mean, I think that's beautiful. I think with the number of miles, even if it's a little older vehicle, but it's four-wheel drive, it's heavy duty, and I think it can service 2 or 3 years
Oh, yeah.
easy. So, and the way you bought it.
I'll call them and tell them to try and keep their eyes out for a white one, which is what I really want, but if, I guess I'm saying, if the right price comes along, the right vehicle, then I'll be able to see you, and if not, I'll just kind of wait till I hear from you, but you'll know more once you decide what direction you're going anyway, but if it's,
Well, we're gonna need it, I think.
you're gonna need it either way, no matter what direction you go.
I think, yeah, we'll need a fly car, I mean, that's kind of the approach they're taking, is 2 full-time ambulances and the fly car. I mean, that's how Miami kind of figured it, and that's how Texas figured it, so. And if we decided that we did it on our own, that's when we do it. I'm not leaning very heavily that way. Unless Jeff wants to.
Is that fly car?
No, you're
okay.
Oh, geez. That would take a little bit of money.
44, 418.
But if you go higher, September.
But I have to prove to your wife.
Yeah,
Better
probably.
say it.
That's not an 8 to 5 job.
No.
So motor vehicle taxes collection is down just,
But
it's down a little bit since
that's
last
not
year.
just today, we still have up to September. So the end of
I guess
August,
you'd see a little bit of fluctuation from year to year based on,
in August, the end of
but it's
August.
down about 7,000 from where it was this time last year. Isn't that what you said?
I said September, so that would include some of September, all of August and September, so it will probably go higher, but that's the estimate right now of what we have in it. If we distribute it right today, that's what we would get.
All right, Chase, you got any questions when you get in the revenue projections, all the rest? All right. Doesn't look like there's.
Do you have a sheet with the revenue projections? You
Yeah.
gave them us, didn't you? You gave them, okay.
From 2013, the vehicle, the motor vehicle tax.
Well,
You got some additional revenue.
Yes, I got kind of all our categories there, where we're at today, through 8 months.
Okay. That's, you got additional revenues like MA and medical suit.
Yeah, that's included in there. But like I said, there's maybe the hardest thing we understand, and I don't understand that part, because I don't do all of it, or I don't do the budget, but all these funds, where they go,
Mhm.
because some of them are budgetary, some of them are not. In other words, some of them reflect on the ad valorem tax and some of them don't. I think I'm on the only one that's got all them weird, treasurer's office does too.
You don't have to.
Just stuff like the statutes, that the money goes into a certain fund, just stays in there and carries over from year to year. Special drug tax.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's the, what, technology fund?
That's an ongoing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think that's in there, though. couldn't believe you.
Last month, a week, a week.
Can't do this, that's just what the radio there.
I had a deputy's meeting yesterday, just so you guys know, yesterday afternoon, I haven't had one for a while. One of the issues that came from them was the amount of times they're responding to people shooting firearms up the hut. And I said, well, Chris is supposed to be getting with me on some ideas he has, or,
From the historical, Chris Taylor.
yeah.
He hasn't gotten with you on any of that?
But I mean, I guess if they're concerned, I understand, because they were, you know, Chris Taylor and them were concerned, and now the deputy said it is. I think it's more in the daytime than it is in the night, but there have been some nighttime. I wonder if we should consider putting a gate up there. Cause and the response I got was from a few deputies, it's good common folk people who just want a place to go shoot their guns, so they think that's a good place, so they go up there to shoot their firearms off.
Can they legally discharge firearms off in that? We never did determine that, did we?
Well, yes and no. They can, except the landowner, I think, has the right to say they don't want something done. You know, they can have a rule no, or something if they want to do, just like you could at your house.
They also thought a curfew would be good up there, which,
Is there any lighting up there at night?
I
mean, it's tough back in there, I mean, it's, you can't see it from really anywhere unless you're
Right.
right up around that curve.
There are just two landowners, I think, that
Yeah.
really go close.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's two houses back there, is that right?
to the south, yeah. Jack Healy and Caldwell.
You might remember their name. I'm glad you remember the name. 'Cause I-
Joni's her name, I can't remember.
Jody and Tom
Caldwell.
It's
Tom's
Jody.
the basketball coach.
Yeah. Oh, is that? Okay.
She was homecoming queen in BC my freshman year.
And that's the other thing, with BC started back, it's probably only gonna get worse up there.
You think they'll be shooting firearms? BC2, she got
I'm not saying, they'll
We
be,
do have quite a contingent of.
they'll be
doing that.
doing this up there and some other things that I won't talk about, but I doubt if they'll be shooting firearms up there.
I know of a lot of BC students that do discharge firearms, but it's also with, drinking up there, so. It's not, yeah, it's a great combination, firearms and beers.
Have we ever come up, I know we talked about it earlier this year, but just a shooting range for opening it up for other people. There's a lot of people inquire about that, I mean.
I've tried to talk K Camp into it, because I get a lot of, organized, they want,
Yeah.
even if there's a firearms range instructor that's out there with them or whatever, but
There's an
I
actual.
don't think ours is being used to what we should, and, you know, we could get gun clubs, we could get people to help with the maintenance of it, and, but I think they're worried about the liability.
What about the old city road out there by the elevator south?
Pretty bad shape, but
They closed that down.
You know, by the caves.
You open yours up here.
city stores, junk vehicles down there, and occasionally some of the city officers still go down there and shoot, it's open, mine's not really open to, unless they're firearms instructors with them. And then that is one reason, there's,
So K Camp's the only reason that would hold us back on that?
and I would guess that's a recommended, we could choose to probably do it. The most they can say is, there's no coverage, but I think there would still be coverage for us, it's just a matter of, that's the recommendation, because it is a liability to us, and if we have a liability, it can cost, but if it had the commission you chose to, I think you could say, let's take the certain times of the week, or, of course, I'd wanna be involved with that, with Pat's.
Well, Kansas Tort Claims Act, I think excludes liability, and I've never understood why that doesn't seem to get reflected in insurance costs.
I think it's fine.
Well, yeah. Because most insurance companies think they exist only to accept premiums, but I don't think from a liability point of view, there's a lot there. I think it would be,
That's what I think too.
I think it would just be your concern about whether if something happens.
I'm not opposed to it, because I know I get approached a lot about it, and, I mean, definitely we wanna do it right, and have some guidelines and rules and some input from me, input from Pat, and, but if you guys wanna go that direction, I think it's a goal we should get accomplished by next spring. City of Horton does it, they have a public shooting range.
They got money for that though, didn't they? You're talking about the one out west of town?
That was federally funded,
Yeah.
yeah, through,
For the Indians,
but they still allow the public, I think on Sunday afternoons and by appointment with the firearms range instructor to go out or something.
Pat, were you able to get a hold of Gene Kelly at the state, see if we got it?
No, I got your email about that today, but I have a name to go to.
Dean and Several sent me an email just asking if we heard anything back. And they're gonna need pretty soon.
You didn't send me that one. Do you have his, can you send me that one? Because I would like to talk to him and make sure that, find out exactly what the issue is, so that we can address it directly.
It should be.
Or maybe it is here. It is there.
Okay.
In the number, great.
So I know that we've gotten through April of 2012, we got, the data they need, but they want through June, plus we never did get any large claims over 50,000, we never did get that information. I mean, they're gonna need to get out, I mean, they want those bids out by September 1st, we need to really get that. Surely the state's gotta have data through June by now.
It should have by July, through July.
Yeah. Well, if we get July too, that's fine, but we need at least through June.
Well, June is good, because we just have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give him a call and see if you're okay. But, yeah, I'll see now, in case he's got it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I need to say for?
So, what's that? Okay, here's two more for you.
Did we sign off on the treasurer's budget? I know I have that.
Yeah.
We did.
I heard basically the same, not much increase. What did, leaving emergency management and office fees and IT as presented?
We made some modifications on the GIS, yeah, why don't you grab those? We made some modifications that lowered. Noxious weed was pretty, I think that was pretty self-sufficient. I think that some of the cap outlay for the vehicles going towards the emergency management side, I think that was.
My concern is how we appropriate less ranges, because it just doesn't.
Is that it, 272,
That was 66,000, that the appraisal was at.
72, 594. Tony, Roger.
You left with me.
Yeah, he had pretty good use of, was there have to rotate something.
Cheaper for us to buy a car dealership.
It's kind of interesting to see some of the new pricing versus used. Sometimes it's, right now, it's pretty good.
Yeah, they find a carryover, it's not too bad.
One 150,662 was the final number. Was that what we- Salary.
What number?
150,662. Personnel services, 113,363.20. Those 113,363. Oh, total, this is what it broke down. So 113,363 salary. Yeah, that's the total, like, capital outlay, the commodities, contractual, and personnel services. So salary extra is about 9,000. So that's pretty much just in contractual commodities. I think the difficult part is to quantify the other departments on what they're spending on IT and contractual, I think.
Yeah, I wish we had a better feeling, because I tell you what, I'd really like to see, rather than these sheets, I'd rather see a voucher system, so when he does work with people he does work for, they sign off on it, so we verify totally how many hours, and we get a better picture of truly how many hours that we're spending, because I can show you right here, it doesn't take an hour to set up an email for me.
Where's that? Oh, I think this is like if,
Well, he's keeping track of the amount of time, which is good, but all these figures around, I'm questioning whether or not, I mean, when I look at even last year, if you take all those, he spent 890, that's not even half time. Not quite half time that he spent on IT. Which I realize he's got other jobs he's got to make sure he takes care of. But does that mean that we have that much, if you're adding one new person, does that mean that we've got that much more work that has to be done? That's the only reason I said I would ease into it. We'll have a half-time GIS, half-time IT person.
well, the major things that are coming up are, that AS400 server that's down there, that's gonna be gone. They're gonna be going to like a big cloud system, which will save us a ton of money, because we have to pay a bunch of money to maintain that.
Where's that going in?
That's the server that multiple offices
here?
down there use. It's down here in the courthouse.
Is that down there in that storage room?
Yeah,
Well, I call it storage room.
yeah.
Near the north, yeah, okay.
And then you've got, you know, the hard part with like Manatron is that everything that they do, they hire out to Next Tech. And there was no accountability or nobody was like overseeing any of that before.
Well, you know, I can see some, you know, a lot of your big businesses have, you know, an IT person on staff. I'm not totally down, I'm just saying, I'm not for sure that we have, I'd rather ease into it than if we have to add another half-time or some position next year. That's, you're adding a lot of money into IT, and we don't know exactly how much savings we're truly gonna get. You know, we're trying to cut some other positions and we want to add to IT. And how long will the GIS need 1.5 positions?
I don't know, it just depends on how fast it grows. I mean, if,
Well, it can only grow so big, the county is so big.
That entry though,
that entry's getting bigger.
yeah, there's a lot of, because what we're doing is we're putting multiple, layers on one interface. So anytime you look up a property, it'll have every layer that you could possibly imagine onto, and putting it all onto one, parcel takes a lot of time. It's very time consuming, it's pretty mindless stuff, so.
So does that generate into revenue? I mean, is
Yes,
that just-
in terms of, gas and personnel saved, and having to go out and investigate, and also compiling all that.
Tony just sat there and told me that they still have to send people out to verify.
Occasionally, because you have, if somebody puts in like a building, we don't do permits, but notification that there's a building, we have to physically send somebody out, because it's not gonna be reflected on any GIS, because that's spaced out every so often. So, anytime somebody, builds something new, you have to let us know, and we have to send somebody out to measure it, get any kind of improved structure numbers. And that's, you're always gonna need to have that, but, there's a lot of other things that are just updates that are keeping numbers current, and with GIS system, you can do, it depends on what package you get, but you can do soil composition, you can do stuff that's just ridiculous with satellite and flyover technology, so, it does save the routine, trips out to the county, but there's always gonna be a need for at least one or two people that have to be able to go out and either investigate complaints about property being reappraised or classified, you know, because we have new classifications coming, and that's gonna be.
Well, I understand what you, in particular, like on ag land, because I got a cousin that works in the FSA office, and I had a visit with her the other day. And she said, they will not supply any of that information, you know, it doesn't make sense, and she agreed that they're compiling their own information, and now we're having to compile our own information, you know, on agricultural land and stuff. And it just, it's sad, I mean, that's the way government sometimes works, I understand, but, I can see where, because not everybody's gonna report when they tore up land, but here again, it's, I think he said something about they recoup $3 million in assessed value because of different land. I understand that, but,
I don't know if there's a good answer for you on it, I mean, it's gonna far
Well, you
surpass
know,
what I can comprehend, I can
but
tell you that.
you're talking to somebody that knows, okay?
Well, it's gonna be on me, I mean,
Take.
I don't extrapolate that, I don't.
It's hard to.
But we have, you know, what I'm saying is you gotta be in a position to sell it to the
What I will say
public too.
is that, hiring one part-time person to just do data entry, they're going to recruit not only their salary's worth and whatever their insurance is, and they're going to, whatever data they put in, they're gonna more than pay for their own position and then some, because we'll just, what you sell is that it's the most accurate record that we can possibly have. I mean, that's what we're getting to with the GIS, is we'll have the most up-to-date current. It's not, because we're on the 6-year cycle where we reappraise things, the whole county gets reappraised on a six-year cycle. With GIS flowers, you can cut it down to 2. So, a building won't exist for 5 years before we find out that it exists. So there's that. And that has tax implications. It also has a lot of accuracy implications. If somebody does tear something down, our records will reflect that. If somebody built something, our records will reflect that.
I can see that, yeah.
One of the good examples is probably, the 2010 census, when we were talking about the redistricting. Our election officer doesn't have anything with JS or anything. If there was somebody that was filling that role, they could populate that data fairly quickly, and we just don't have any faithful type all under the appraiser's office. It's, we have stuff dedicated to, that's just one example outside of like.
What does Tony's position then do? I mean, is he gonna do that, is he doing data entry too?
Data entry is, the way he handles it is a lot of, questions that people have as concerning properties that he has to go in and look up. Data entry that we're talking about as far as catching up and then staying caught up. Catching up is a matter of, unfortunately, it is gonna probably require some sort of contracting out, because, it's just not cost effective as far as personnel hours to have. Because it would be 2 or 3 people's full-time job just to enter in all the stuff that we have. Whereas if you could just contract it out, it would be done in a week and we'll be caught up, and then from that point on, maintaining the records, updating it year by year as opposed to trying to catch up of a 5-year lag or 4-year, whatever lag time is.
And the counties that are running successful programs, there's a person in each department that is dedicated to, outside of their normal duties, they're the ones that are pulling in that data and actually keeping that, maintaining. That solves a lot of that.
Yes, and what our option could be is that we package the information by department. You'll have the access to the whole GIS drive when we do, instead of it being its own contained unit, it'll be a drive where every department has access to it. And then every department can kind of put in the parameters of what kind of information they need, so that they don't have to access the entire GIS, and they don't have to be experts in GIS to get the information that they need. They just be able to access it from their end, from their departments, like Interlink, and they'll be able to have information that it is pertinent to their department, and they won't need all of the GIS. So you can do it by department, so you don't have to have a dedicated IT person per department, because that's not cost effective for us.
No, they would have an additional, their duties would include pulling the data or maintaining the data. They would have a normal job, but they would also be responsible for any data generated in that they would be pulling that, and they would relay that to. So the counties that have worked really good in that, so that's what they've been doing.
So that's the part-time GIS IT, that's the position that we're talking about?
They're gonna be the ones that establish that protocol.
Okay.
I mean, as far as for the firm, but this is just a start, this is just to get it going.
Yeah. It's really hard to, make any promises as far as what returns we'll get, even though we're not allowed, it's not quite appropriate to say a return on investment, but when is it going to be cost effective? With IT, it all depends on how far you integrate in, how much you buy into it. If you go halfway, then you get halfway. You'll have records from 10 years ago updated, and that'll save you a little bit of time, but with IT and information technology, the more you buy in, and the more you integrate, the more money you save. So it is one of those where we know we can take a full plunge. So that's the hard part of selling, is that you won't know until you commit to it, exactly how much you'll save. Now, this Atchison Senior Village, I just noticed that they had a 69% decrease in their budget. I don't know, whether that's,
Well,
still
10,000 subsidies, I think that we have to worry about on that.
We still have the budget, though. It's still
Oh,
part
yeah.
of our budget. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think the biggest chunk of that was wages?
right, the wages aren't. So it's either it's incomplete, or is it something that we just, that's what I don't wanna make a decision on by
Yeah, well,
myself.
Peggy on that.
What was that salary amount just put in?
1,493,939. Plus $400,000 for health insurance.
Would it be to approve the noxious weed budget?
Yeah, I think the original one had, some for vehicle, but I think that was different.
We, well, yeah, he got, his is revised, and
Yeah, I think that's what technically is.
this is my question. Is Wes got a good raise last year, are we gonna still give them 3%?
You're talking about the promotion on Mercy Mansion?
You know, he got $1 an hour raise last year, the end of the year, that was the first meeting I attended.
That was to compensate for his 6-month valuation that he never got.
That's a pretty good raise, okay.
So, how many do you have left to plug in?
There's the non-departmental, the appropriations that, still have to be entered, and then, I did have a question about, let's really, let me just show.
Mm-hmm.
This one, just you assign the amount appropriated and then break it down by mill rate. Yeah, I think it's those numbers. For the arbitrarily assigned.
Well, if, the mill valuations all went up,
Mm-hmm.
so that's, it's a calculation of mills times however many, basically thousands of dollars that you multiplied out, so whatever they're using as current, whatever, you're gonna have to subtract out whatever unencumbered cash balance they would have carrying over into 2013, or whatever the projected is. Subtract that out of what their current year estimate, and that would give you the total amount for 2013. I think on this sheet it's not showing that. Doesn't it pre-populate with the valuation?
It should, once we have each department's detail put in. Unfortunately, this year's version, instead of doing it by department and then, groups that we do appropriations to, they just alphabetize it, so that's kind of what we have. Because we're going, each time we put a new ledger in, you switch it out. And, then there's discrepancies with, the actuals that each department put in. And then, that's probably gonna happen just because we just got the audit back, so they didn't have an opportunity to revise the 2011 actuals, so, just go ahead and ignore the 2011 that they put on their department budget sheets and go with the 2011, audit numbers.
Because that's what was tested.
Right, that's what was
That's what was
actually
tested
spent.
and approved, so you're gonna go with.
Other than that, the system did prove to be easier since it did repopulate and recalculate. What will be, once we have all the, stuff put in, then the first page, the general page, that'll be if you got it right or not, so. One thing that's hanging over is the ambulance, the EMS or EMT services.
Well, the way I got that, I figure if you're, the current mill levy that we've got in place will generate us about, plus the motor vehicle tax will get us somewhere around $325,000, $340,000. And if we divert $500,000 sales tax to that covers that budget. And then we would have to if we do the capital outlay projects over a 5-year period, we're thinking that'd be another $40,000
A year.
debt. So that's basically that's basically the amount of increase in the ambulance.
So we won't raise the mill levy for the ambulance services at all. We'll just,
Well, the ad valorem taxes you will, because right now we're only allocating we're under 400,000 for.
Yeah, but if you divert the sales tax, that's revenue coming in.
That is true.
Where it won't show up on the mill levy is the solid waste fee, and that is a tax, but it won't show up on the mill levy.
mm, so we don't have to.
So there's not a lot-
Designate that money.
Well, we can, it's 6 and 1/2 dozen the other, and we can plug in different numbers. All we're doing is just trying to get it in there to test. We're gonna see what the overall amount is, and then we can change it or alter it from there.
Mhm. But we do have some flexibility as far as. Okay. Good.
Yeah, so you'd about have to raise, if you use it all mill levy on the ambulance, you'd have to raise it, I think I had that figure, $4.5 million or something.
Mhm. Yeah, pretty significant.
That's just to cover the basic operation. In other words, it'd have to more than double, because we're at 2.5, not quite 2.5 right now.
Mm.
But that all was budgeted for was whatever the contractual amount that we paid in the hospital. We only have to get up about $325,000.
You know, have to double that. Double that would be a
More
good
than,
deal.
well, yeah, if you doubled it, you'd have to almost, you'd have to go 2.5 times is basically what I figured it would be,
Okay.
if you use it on mill levy. But, I think our intent was to divert some of the sales tax.
I think the medical laws would be.
That's next Friday.
Next Wednesday.
Or yeah, Wednesday, next Wednesday, 29. I don't even know who she is, or what it's about.
So
Maybe about 6.8 million.
so the county's decision on the EMS services isn't gonna be, contingent, or the budget isn't contingent on that approval?
No, we're gonna have, we have some ad valorem taxes that are gonna be dedicated towards that, so, yeah.
Right. Just, you're talking about the ambulance?
Yeah.
Correct.
We've currently got a mill levy in place for that.
Mhm. But I mean, like, us coming to a decision as far as the service that we are gonna agree to and the amount.
Well, we know if we do go with tech, we know what that amount is.
Okay.
That part, it's just a matter of, is that mill levy, or what we convert, or what we move of sales tax money in there, how much we gonna move the sales tax money to subsidize. That makes sense.
Mm.
I mean, it's a new ballgame.
Right.
We don't, the nice thing to me about having the sales tax there is that you got a little flexibility if we start going through shorts and divert just a little bit more sales tax money, but I don't think that we know pretty close what it appears it's gonna take 35%, if our sales tax revenues hold pretty much the same. It's gonna take 35% of that to fund joint communications. So that leaves us with 55% of the sales tax money to subsidize solid waste and ambulance. been pretty consistent the last couple of years, from what I've seen. It's about 1.28, something like that. I don't think I ever got quite that high. We still got the contingencies, and we know what the city of Ashland's gonna give us. We don't have that many amounts. The city of Lancaster and the city of Ashland, for sure how much, but I mean, those aren't, you know, quite as significant in terms of, I mean, it could be $30,000 there, so. Because they don't have to tell us. I mean, the city was actually kind enough to promise that they was gonna keep their same amount, which is, let me sleep a little easier, that we know we have that much money coming in. I mean, what the other cities, I have no idea. I heard Lancaster was thinking about maybe withholding a little bit, and Effingham was withholding, so, which is about 25,000. So, if they don't change, and it won't change that 1.28.
We'll probably keep it in separate fund, we run it, we try to, best to keep it separate out of general. EMS.
Well, we already got the lot, but
Just make your change from name, just make it EMS, not EMS first.
everybody there.
Yeah. Maracas, what is that?
They'll call it Ashland County EMS, or County EMS, I don't care, whatever.
Would that be something that we just budget after the budget submitted, this actual 2013 adjustment?
I just make it now, just on the tab, just classify it as EMS or.
And if you're talking about reclassifying the levy or just retitling it?
No, not the levy, but reclassifying the actual department name.
Okay. From emergency?
No, it's emergency management, it's a combination, ambulance service and emergency preparedness, and so that's gonna be just EMS. So just make a tab, just call it EMS, that's what formerly was known as split between two departments, it's now just gonna be EMS.
Well, yeah, the volunteer service would I think what you're saying is volunteer service was under EP before, but the whole regular ambulance service that served the city was,
Ambulance.
or not the city, but the eastern part of the county, I should say. That was an ambulance. But now EP will have no responsibility there in terms of.
Built up first responder.
First, yeah,
Yeah.
they'll have that part, but they won't have any other thing to do there, and so that part, there won't be, of course, it wasn't the largest amount out of their budget, per se, but,
And that'll be titled just emergency management, but that just coincides with what the KDMs or what,
yeah, we.
Kansas Emergency Management, so,
It's,
instead of emergency preparedness.
does he need a copy, did we tell him so he could go through here?
I think he has my copy, I think the one I disappeared to.
I would give that probably just put it away, right? Do you have a copy of like this, so you can get reading the budgets?
No.
Well, I thought you gave me mine.
I think it really helps you when you start to plug numbers in to make sure, because I think now, what was the organization that was up here? The one that Louise, Christie, Isaac, what was the name of that organization? They come up there and ask us for money, and I can't remember us, we never did officially approve anything that had to.
Northeast Kansas.
Yeah, but where does that,
Facilitation
yeah,
council.
where does that come in? Is that coming on county general somewhere?
That's not a part of the economic development. It'd probably be under general. It's gonna be a line item under general. I think you've got, I think we went through those, economic development, I went through all those. Under general.
Has its own page, but I do have numbers for it.
Where's the economic development contractual for that? What is that?
General.
I know it's.
That's multiple, that's like, MOCAN, a couple of them underneath there.
Kansas City, what's in,
Yeah.
Kansas City area.
Oh, yeah, economic development.
Anyway, what other figure, you publish, it can't go any higher than that, we can lower the mill levy, we can raise it, more than what's up, that we publish here in 20, when did that be published? 24, something like that.
Yeah,
Well,
right out of the year, is that what you're talking about? You're talking about the one in December?
No, well, 1 December, that's the final, but we have to publish one in August, don't we?
Well, the 25th was originally, but I think didn't we set to have the hearing on the 19th, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
That's 10 days before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can run him one, and finish his other.
Yeah. Where's the email, small book?
It is small money.
So you got, you from us, Chip? Entertain a motion to adjourn at 12:24.
I don't know, I'm having a good time.
What do you can say?
Yeah, you can say. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Jason, you got that?
Mowed corn yesterday. Well, it was wheat, it was corn after wheat.
Oh.
We planted that right after, they saw 2 inches of rain that week, and they just